What's happening, everybody? Champ is back, and I am back with a brand new series, okay? I think I'm the only person, by the way, that is on the internet doing this. I am reacting every single day to an execution that is taking place inside the United States. I found this awesome channel that shows off who is actually executed on the actual day, what their final meals are, and what their final words are, okay? And I am really, really excited to come up with this series. Now, for those of you who are wondering, well, what if the whole entire thing might trigger somebody? Like, what if it involves a topic that not a lot of people are going to be, kind of be into? Yeah, I hear you on that one. In fact, I was going to do the last two until one of them actually was involving a youngling. Um, But I'll warn you, okay? I watched the introduction to these, and that's it. I still want the videos to be a raw reaction. This one happened earlier this morning while I was at work. I think his name is like Raymond or something. And you don't have to worry about it. It's just murder in this one. So let's go ahead and get it popping now, shall we?
On May 14, 2026, after spending more than 16 years on death row, Raymond Eugene Johnson was executed by lethal injection in Oklahoma.
Okay, so
He
that
was
is
21 years old when he killed for the first time, shot a man through a car window during an argument in Oklahoma City. He pleaded guilty to manslaughter and received a 20-year sentence, but he only served 9 of them.
Of course he did. Good behavior? Bet you feel good about this now, huh?
2 years after being paroled, Raymond killed again.
All right. Now, this is the farthest I've ever gotten in this video, okay? That's how far I'm watching the intro. So, beyond this, I don't know, okay? So, that's what we're going into today, okay? This video is made by Final Verdict. I don't know if you can see it right here. I'm going to post a link in the description box somewhere down there, okay? And let's go ahead and get it popping, all right? Make sure you guys leave your thoughts and your comments. All right, here we go.
Brooke Whitaker was 24 years old. She was Raymond's ex-girlfriend and the mother of his baby daughter.
He's the daddy? Okay.
And on the morning of June 23rd, 2000,
Maybe this did involve a kid. I'm sorry. I guess I should age restrict this video then. By the way, that's your key sign. If it's a very horrific video, if the video is age restricted,
2007,
I guess I should.
firefighters were called to Brooke's house on East Newton Street in Tulsa. They found her body on the floor of a side room. And when they found her 7-month-old baby girl on the living room floor, she was so badly burned that
She was burned, dude? With what?
responders thought she was a doll. This is what happened.
Okay, here we go.
During a police interview in 1995, after he was arrested for killing Clarence Ray Oliver, Raymond told detectives something that would matter a lot more 20 years later.
I am a con artist. I'm real good at it.
State attorneys saved that recording for nearly 20 years, and in 2026, they played it for the Pardon and Parole Board. But we'll get to that. Raymond went to prison in 1996. He was released in 2005 after serving just 9 years of his 20-year sentence.
So he just killed somebody randomly in a drive-by and only got 9 years in jail for that? Oklahoma, come on, man.
And it didn't take long for things to go wrong again.
Mm.
After being paroled, Raymond moved to Tulsa. That's where he met Brooke. And almost from the beginning, he made that relationship a dangerous place to be. He was physically abusive. He stalked her. He controlled who she could see and where she could work. He threatened.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to age restrict the video. I made the decision to age restrict it if it was either involved children or if it was some sort of domestic thing. And I have a feeling that these people died like in a very horrific way. So yeah, I might have to
The killer
restrict
on
this
more than
video.
10 separate occasions. And by April of 2007, Brooke was frightened enough that she filed a restraining order against him. At one point, she packed up her 4 children and moved them to her mother's house for 2 weeks. The youngest, a baby girl named Kaya, was 7 months old. She was Raymond's daughter. And while they were at her mother's house, Raymond called her mother directly and told her he was going to kill Brooke.
What is your goal here? Like, how does that bring you guys closer together? And let me guess, it didn't go over very well, did it?
The restraining order was eventually dropped in May when
Why?
neither party showed up to a scheduled hearing. Raymond moved back in. And that decision would cost Brooke and Kia their lives.
Oh, no.
But by June, the relationship had fractured again. Raymond had gotten another woman named Jennifer Walton pregnant while he was still with Brooke and had moved out.
Okay. So
On the
it's cheating.
evening of June 22nd, 2007, Jennifer drove Raymond to Brooke's neighborhood. They drove past Brooke's workplace first to make sure she was there. Then they drove past her house to make sure it was empty. Jennifer dropped Raymond off on a side street so he could pick up some of his clothes.
Okay.
She drove away. He was supposed to call someone for a ride when he was done, but Raymond wasn't there for his clothes. At about 1 in the morning, he called Jennifer and told her he was sitting at a Denny's, waiting for Brooke to come home. A few hours later, she did. And when she walked into her house and found Raymond standing there, the two got into an argument. Brooke pushed him, called him names, and grabbed a knife from the kitchen.
Oh, boy.
Raymond grabbed a claw hammer and hit her in the head. She fell to the floor and asked him to call 911, but he didn't.
He's not going to do that. He's the one attacking you.
Instead, he hit her 5 more times. Her skull was fractured in multiple places. There were large depressions and indentations across her head, and parts of her brain were exposed.
Why did I start this series? This is probably like just as bad as the scary 911 calls.
She had defensive wounds on her hands from trying to fight back,
No shit.
and still, Brooke was conscious, still talking.
Oh,
She told
really?
him her head hurt. She told him
Yeah.
it felt like it was going to fall off. She begged him to call for help. She begged him to let her mother come get baby Kaya. She begged him to think of her children. She promised him she wouldn't tell the police what had happened. She said anything she could think of to get him to pick up the phone.
Shit.
But Raymond told her no. He didn't want to go back to prison. And then he told her
Well, it's a little too late for that now, isn't it? Just a bit.
she deserved to die. And then he left her there. According to prosecutors, Raymond kept Brooke alive for up to 6 hours. 6 hours on the floor of her own home, conscious with her skull fractured and parts of her brain exposed, begging the father of her child to call for help. At some point, Raymond went to the shed, found a gasoline can, and came back inside. He doused Brooke with gasoline. Then he walked to the room where 7-month-old Kia was sleeping and doused his own baby too. He then lit a dish towel on fire, threw it on Brooke, and walked out the back door. The fire wasn't reported until 11:11 that morning, and when
Yeah, make a wish. It's 11:11. Make a wish. Wow.
firefighters entered the house on East Newton Street,
Yeah, but I don't want to go back to prison.
the inside was pitch black with smoke. Once they cleared it, they found Kaya on the living room floor. Her mouth, eyelids, and nose were melted shut. The medical examiner later confirmed that she had not died from smoke inhalation. She had burned to death. Her death had been one of the most painful ways a human being can die.
Dude,
In a side room, they found Brooke partially underneath a bunk bed. She had no pulse and was not breathing. Paramedics restarted her heart on the way to Hillcrest Medical Center, and that's when they noticed the massive fractures across her skull. She was pronounced dead shortly after arriving at the hospital. The cause of death was blunt force trauma to the head and smoke inhalation. She was 24 years old.
Man.
Her 3 other children were not in the house that morning.
I don't even know what to say. Like,
They were with their fathers, and Raymond was already gone. After walking out the back door, Raymond had used Brooke's cell phone to call Jennifer. He told her a different story each time. First, that a friend had shot Brooke, then that the same friend was thinking about burning down the house. He told her he needed to get out of there and asked to be picked up on the street behind Brooke's.
Yeah, but I'm just going to
When
pick up some
Jennifer
clothes.
pulled up,
I'm just going to pick up some clothes. That's all I'm going to do. I don't want to go back to prison. I'm just here for my things.
Raymond walked toward her car from the driveway of a vacant house carrying 2 garbage bags. He put them in the trunk, got into the passenger seat, and closed the door. He smelled like gasoline, and there was blood on his clothes. As they drove away, Jennifer looked back and watched flames pouring out the front window of Brooke's house behind them. But Raymond was already making mistakes.
You think?
They drove back to a friend's house in Catoosa, and once inside, Raymond pulled things out of the garbage bags, including money with blood on it. He washed it off and took a shower. When Jennifer asked him what had happened, he told her a different story once again. This time, he said a friend had hit Brooke with a hammer. Then he threw his clothes in a dumpster and realized he had left Brooke's cell phone somewhere near the house with his fingerprints still on it. He drove back.
Yeah, fingerprints on a cell phone that you left at a crime scene. Yeah, probably one of the many mistakes. Your DNA is probably all over the house by now. And this is what, 08, I think it was?
Back to find it, but the street was already swarming with police.
There you go.
By that afternoon, police had already tracked.
Well, you can't light a place on fire, let alone other people at the same time. Shit, that's my scanner. You can't do that, right? And expect to like not get caught. People are gonna see the flames like right away. You know what I mean? Like, what the hell?
Down Jennifer and brought her in for questioning. She told them everything. Where Raymond was, what he had been wearing, where she had driven him to dump his clothes. Based on what she told them, officers set up surveillance outside the house in Catoosa. And at around 6 that evening, they watched Raymond walk out the front door and start heading down the street. They arrested him on outstanding warrants and brought him to the Tulsa police station, where he waived his Miranda rights and sat down with Detective Victor Regalado. There, he admitted everything.
Okay,
Nearly
well,
2 years later,
at least he admitted it. I mean, they have so much evidence against you at that point. You're screwed, and you know that you're screwed.
in June 2009,
Good. So this guy got death because of that. Damn.
Raymond stood trial. Prosecutors sought the death penalty and listed 4 aggravating circumstances. That Raymond had a prior
4.
felony conviction involving violence, that he knowingly created a great risk of death to more than one person, that the murders were especially heinous, atrocious, or cruel, and that there was a probability he would commit violent acts again, and the evidence left very little room for doubt.
I wouldn't be surprised if he tried to kill somebody in prison. Multiple people, in fact. Like, what do you do with people like this?
The claw hammer was recovered from the dumpster in a trash bag, along with Raymond's bloody clothing and Brooke's wallet with her driver's license still inside. A burned gasoline can was found in the front yard. Charred debris tested positive for gasoline. 2 calls from Brooke's cell phone to Jennifer's number were logged just before the fire was reported. And
So she tried calling for help.
Investigators found blood on the passenger door handle of Jennifer's car. And on top of all of that, there was Raymond's own recorded confession given voluntarily to police just hours after the murders. In it, Raymond told detectives he hit Brooke 5 times with the hammer, but the prosecutors told the jury the real number was closer to 24. 24 times.
Yeah, you probably hit her 5 times in the initial attack.
Throughout the trial, Raymond maintained that he never intended to kill baby Kaya.
Yeah,
The prosecutors presented evidence to the jury proving that he had poured gasoline directly on the baby. The jury convicted Raymond on all counts. Every aggravating circumstance was proven, and he was sentenced to death for each of the 2 murders and to life in prison for arson. Raymond did not make a statement after the verdict.
You damn cuck. And if they say something like, yeah, he changed his life around in prison, I still don't like this guy. Number one, I definitely don't believe you. And number two, still don't like this guy.
But the victim's family welcomed it. For the next 16 years, Raymond sat on death row while his appeals moved through the courts. Every single one was denied, and the last one got rejected by the Supreme Court in 2019. 3 years later, the Oklahoma Court of Criminal Appeals set execution dates for 25 death row inmates.
I recognize this guy, this guy's a freak. I can't remember what he did specifically. I'd have to go back and look at it, but this guy's a freak. This guy, I think, is a child predator. This guy's an asshole. See, the faces look familiar. I could probably re-react and go back and watch videos of pretty much all these guys, and it would all be new to me. This looks like a woman to me, somehow.
Raymond was one of them. He was originally scheduled for May 2nd, 2024, but Attorney General Gentner Drummond requested more time between executions because the process was taking a toll on Department of Corrections staff. So Raymond got to live 2 more years. Not because of new evidence, not because of a legal challenge, because the people whose job it was to carry out his sentence needed a break. On February 12th, 2026, just after Oklahoma carried out the execution of Kendrick Simpson, the Attorney General filed a new motion. He requested an execution date of May 14th, 2026, and the court granted it. On
That's today.
April 8, 2026, the Oklahoma Pardon and Parole Board held a clemency hearing. Raymond appeared by video from the Oklahoma State Penitentiary in McAllister. He faced the board and apologized to Brooks' family. He said he had once been trusted in their circle, and he knew what they had lost.
I thought he was going to say something like, and I don't know why I'm not in their inner circle anymore. It's like, gee, I wonder why.
He said his crime didn't define who he was, that it defined a moment he deeply regretted.
I don't believe you. You killed before. Before this terrible double homicide, you killed before. I don't believe you. Okay? And it defined a moment that I regretted. Yeah, well, the only reason why you regret it is because you're going to die soon. That's the only reason why you regret it.
His attorneys presented video statements from his son and daughter who spoke about the bond they had maintained with their father from prison.
He's just very important to me. I love you.
I love you, Daddy.
And church mentors
Just murdered your mom and your sister.
from the Manchester Church of the Brethren in Indiana described a man who had changed. His pastor appeared on video and addressed the board directly.
See what I mean?
If you kill Raymond now, you're killing a completely different person than who he was.
No, you're not.
His federal public defender,
Nobody believes that. Nobody believes that, dude.
Tom Hurd, told the board that Raymond was a real person overflowing with life.
Yeah, well, he killed 3
But then
people.
the state took its turn. Prosecutors played video footage from Raymond's first prison stint from before the double murder. They showed the board exactly who Raymond had been before he got out. And then they played the 1995 police interview
Then why did he get out?
where he had called himself a con artist, the same recording from 20 years earlier. Assistant Attorney General Jennifer Crabb told the board that Raymond had a lifelong habit of manipulating women.
Yeah.
She said his arguments for clemency were the same arguments they heard from everyone: their religion, their change, their ability to help others. But Crabb pointed out something that cut through all of it. She said Raymond had been involved in church since he was a juvenile. Even during his first prison sentence, he was active in the congregation. He found God, got out, and killed a mother and her baby.
Yeah. How is that finding God? Meanwhile, this is a life that didn't even start yet.
Crabb also revealed that Raymond had information about 2 unsolved murders in Cleveland County, but refused to give it to police. The reason? Loyalty to the gang. She said the state didn't know exactly how long Raymond had tortured Brooke, but
I mean, he could be bragging about that, but...
they knew she begged for her life.
Wait,
they knew exactly how long Raymond had tortured Brooke. She said the state didn't know exactly how long Raymond had tortured Brooke, but they knew she begged for her life. They knew both she and Kaya were still alive when he set them on fire. And they knew Brooke and Kaya had been killed in a way designed to inflict maximum suffering. She told the board,
But he's a great person. I don't think he deserves to die. He literally admitted since a very young age, and probably the very first time he got out of prison, he was the same exact reason. He's manipulative as fuck. He's manipulative as hell, dude. That's all there is to it.
this case is one that cries out for the death penalty.
Yeah.
And then the victim's family spoke. Brooke's sister, Amy Pennington, stood before the board and said what the family had been carrying for nearly 2 decades.
We've been waiting for nearly 20 years for justice to be served, carrying this loss with us every day. We've done our part, endured this, grieved, remembered. So we just want this chapter to be closed today.
Logan, Brooke's oldest daughter, wrote the board a letter asking them not to grant clemency. She said it wouldn't bring her mother or Kia back, but it would finally put an end to 2 decades of hearings, news articles, and having his name attached to theirs.
Yeah.
And then there was Alyssa, Brooke's second daughter. She could not bring herself to speak. A family member read her statement instead. She said, "I never deserved this. My sisters never deserved this, and my brother never deserved this, and my mom never deserved this."
Nobody deserves this.
She was 24 years old, but she told the board she was sitting in that room as the 5-year-old girl she had been on the day her mother and baby sister were murdered. She spoke about the missed birthdays, the graduations, the weddings, the pregnancies, the births, everything her mother never got to see. The board voted unanimously to deny clemency, 5-0. Under Oklahoma law, the governor cannot grant clemency unless the board recommends it. Attorney General Drummond released a statement afterward. On the
Wait, what did that say?
Attorney General Drummond,
Raymond Johnson is a cruel murderer who inflicted unimaginable pain and suffering on his victims. His heinous actions shattered a family and forced 3 young children to grow up without their mother or baby sister. There will finally be justice for Brooke and Kia when the death sentence is carried out.
Released a statement
Absolutely.
afterward. On the evening before his execution, Raymond requested a last meal consisting of 12-piece boneless chicken, a pint of gizzards, a side of fried pickles, 4 packets of hot sauce, and 4 packets of ranch dressing.
That's like a snack. Is it only 3 deep-fried pickles? Because that's just a waste of space. Like, get a whole bag, like a pound bag, and just make your stomach sick if you're gonna do that.
Brooke's mother, Andra, spent nearly 2 decades waiting for this day. Her family said she was never the same after the murders. All she wanted was to live long enough to see Raymond punished. But she didn't make it. She died of a heart attack 18 months before the execution. On the morning of May 14, 2026, Raymond Eugene Johnson was led from his holding cell to the execution chamber at the Oklahoma State Penitentiary in McAllister. He was strapped to the gurney and an IV line was inserted into his arm. At 10 a.m., prison officials began administering the 3-drug lethal injection. Raymond's final words in the execution chamber have not been released. But
damn it! But this is my first video!
During his clemency hearing, he apologized to Brooke's family and asked for forgiveness. He told the board, "I apologize. No excuses, no justifications, a sincere apology. And to know that it's sincere, look at my actions, look at my life, look how I've changed. I'm living a remorseful life. I'm living it."
Yeah, nobody feels sorry for you. Nobody. You're not going to manipulate the parole board to life in prison a few days before the execution is carried out. You're just not.
Raymond was pronounced dead at 10:12 a.m. He was 52 years old.
And I was an hour and 12 minutes into the shift.
He had spent more than 16 years on death row. What do you think?
What do I think? I think justice was definitely carried out. What a horrific ass crime. I really did not want my first execution to be age restricted, but it looks like it's going to have to be. And yeah, let's hope that you guys didn't have a bad day, because I think it just got worse. But the Sabres are actually on right now, and I'm starving, and we actually have one more execution to go through today. This is only the first one. So if there's an intermission and it comes out, I'm going to do a live reaction to that and fast forward through the commercials. Have a good night.